Yes. Hello. I need these two on both sides of me because we're going to have a fist fight at some point. Right? I've been promised at least. We'll see.
Let's see about that. Yeah. They're so popular that the whole front row has left, so thanks for sticking around.
The good people sit on the back.
They want to avoid the fist fight.
Exactly. All right. So let's start with, well, you've already been introduced, so Martin and Brian on my side. So let's start with just jump into it because it should be quick and we only have limited time to it. Let's start with our responsible gambling plans that, that exist, that have been discussed in previous panels, like a requirement for responsible gambling, gaming plan, self-exclusion programs, advertising restrictions. Are these practices effective?
I think Brian should go first because I'll be defending the industry. That's the idea here.
So I'm somebody who had a gambling addiction. So now you know what I'm going to say. I don't. If the goal is to not get people addicted, then no. I would say not. But that is because I don't exactly, honestly, and I've been talking about this for 9.5 years. I don't honestly know what responsible gambling is. I know it's a prevention tool, and I know that it talks about setting limits and a budget and a time. But after that, I don't know what exactly it is. Can you explain what it is?
I'll do my best. Well, do I know what it is? I'm hopeful I do. We're headed there. We might not be there just yet. But I believe, to put it back to you, what tends to be neglected in the whole debate, and there will be a lot of folks out there who would want to snipe at me for what I'm going to say. But as an individual, I strongly believe that I have a responsibility for my actions. So, and I'm not a betting man, but if I were, of course, I would expect the industry to give me to your point, all the information I need and even perhaps a slap on the wrist should I start going astray. But I believe what tends to get neglected is me, Martin Lycka, human being, if I were a betting man, I'm responsible for my actions. So if I were to choose to spend my money on a betting site as opposed to spending the whole weekend with my wife loading a lot of costs on my Amex card at a shopping center, that's my choice.
Absolutely. It was my choice to gamble away all my money until I was 32. I made that choice. In 14 years of going to the casino, one time in 14 years, someone said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" One time. In 14 years. So I don't know, when online gambling came along, the promise was, from one of the legislators in Michigan, the promise was, if it's online, we can track it, so we can track problem gambling. I talk to people all the time who were gambling on these apps, and they didn't get a message from the company. They didn't get any sort of people running interference. They gambled away all their money, and now they sit in a room with me and talk about it. And so I don't think that saying set a budget, set a limit, here's a pile of cocaine, now do it responsibly. No one's going to do that responsibly. They're going to indulge if that's who they are. And I'm somebody who indulged, so I know.
Well, first of all, I would hate to get into the retail or land-based the online debate because Kate right there would get me expelled from the AGA. Let's not have that debate. Is sports betting really cocaine? Perhaps some of the slot machines might be. Online, offline, I'm honoring that promise. As I've said, there is a lot of information out there on the sites. Does it need to get even better? Well, I would agree with you, yes. It does. It's not a perfect product just yet, but I'd rather have the players in or within the legalized space being provided that information with onus and responsibility on the operators as an unfinished product as opposed to them running away to the black market, which I believe is another crucial consideration right here. So yes, we may not know yet what responsible gambling fully stands for, but as I've said, I believe we're getting there. To make it even more convoluted, they started calling it, putting it back to you again, safer gambling in the UK, whatever that may mean. So would you have any views? Sorry, Lali, I'm moonlighting as the moderator. Any views on that?
I would shut up and go away for a long time if we could just say, this product is addictive, go ahead and use it, have fun, enjoy yourself, but this product is addictive. This product can be addictive. I mean, we have to say that out loud because people don't know. They get engaged, and we took the travel time, we took the gas money out of gambling. We put it in the phone. And so now people can just open up their phone and they start with a deposit, like I'll put $100 and I'll play that. And then quickly that $100 is gone. And it's just so easy to press that add button and add more money. And before you know it, you're like, where'd all my money go? And I don't know that saying like, hey, be careful is good enough from an industry that's providing the gambling.
All right, I'm gonna stop you here. So what I'm hearing from both sides, right? So what I'm hearing is the regulations are there, they're not either being enforced or the language is not correct, right? And so then the question is, how can everyone work together? Like we hear a lot on different panels, different conferences that it's a joint effort. We cannot the operators cannot do it alone. Regulators cannot do it alone. So what's the role of operators? What's the role of advocates to actually get it done? Because it's not that even in your arguments, I don't hear that there are no regulations. I think problem is that you don't think it's enforced enough. You're not saying there are no regulations. You're saying no one is telling gamblers that it's addictive. No one is telling stop playing, right?
Yeah, I mean they like DraftKings has good information on their website. They have plenty of good information. But I don't think that any average person who starts to gamble is going to go read information before the gambling, before the fun stuff. They're not going to do that, so they're not aware. So I mean, we're getting to technology later, so I'll wait. But
no, tell me, what do you think that can be done? What can be done from advocate side, because that's what we can speak to. What can be done from operator side? What can we all do together to improve that?
I would say that you have to call it addictive. You have to say this product can be addictive. And then you're making progress. Then people are like, okay, I'll just be careful with that. And I'll still engage with it. But to say, set a limit, it's on you. It's your responsibility. We're going to keep enticing you. We're going to throw offers at you, promos, bonus offers. But it's still on you. It's your responsibility.
The addictive bit, is there like a blinking sign on the screen? From what I'm hearing from you, it may, and we'll still be friends after the session, I'm hoping, it may not be enough. So do we put in technology that would prevent those who are sliding down the slippery slope of gambling addiction, as actually Entain is doing, to talk about my own employer for a split second, to stop that? Prevent that person from accessing the site and putting them on a path towards recovery. So would that be good enough from your perspective? Does that go beyond that blinking sign, just say, oh, it's addictive, but to your point, yeah, folks may not read the T's and C's. They may try to click that stuff away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's too much to ask. If you open an app, it just says, hey, gambling help is available here. Click here. If not, continue to gamble. And then every single person who uses that app will look at it and be like, oh, gambling, there's help available. Good, now I know that. And that could be, just put that right up front so everybody is aware. But we're hiding it. We're hiding it under something that says RG. Sometimes it says responsible gambling. But like ESPN Bets, that app, it says RG at the top. If you're looking at it on your phone, you can't read what RG stands for, so you're just like an R and a G, I don't know what that is. The average consumer doesn't know what RG is. You guys do, but they don't. And so they see it and they're like, I don't know. Luckily, at the bottom, it does say call 1-800-GAMBLER for a gambling problem, so that's nice, too. It's little language like that would go a long way. At the end of an ad, put the phone number of the state you're in, or just put 1-800-GAMBLER. I don't care, but just put one. I'm still seeing ads with 15 phone numbers. And so just make it easier on people. Easier to find help, easier to self-exclude, easier to not lose all their money that night, run a little interference. Have somebody be like, hey, I noticed you gambled away $5,000 tonight.
Yeah, I'm supposed to disagree with you, but I'm of the same view. It's like the 25 1-800 numbers are very confusing. Folks don't even know what their objective is. Oh, sorry, I locked myself out of my account. Can you help me? Oh, what's the latest and fattest bonus? So yeah, we would definitely agree on that one. So I'd say, no, more substance, bigger font, and to your point about a joint effort, I suppose it takes a big heart. A lot of people in this room do have a big heart because we worked on this together. Hello, everybody, even in the back. And just let's try, and I believe that's what's been missing on a serious note from the discourse. Like, trying to bring everybody together. We may hate each other, or hopefully not hate each other, but that might have to agree to disagree. But at least let's talk with a view to assuaging Brian's concerns, doing it together. You know, the so-called arch advocates, the industry, everybody else involved. I believe that's what's been missing.
Well, and to your credit, you invited me here. So, you know my thoughts. It's not like I hide this stuff. So
I might live to regret it, but yeah, great to have you.
All right. So, okay, we get together. All sunshine and rainbows. We achieved the goal. What are we doing with the black market? Who's punishing black market for it? We have all these flashy lights that it's addictive. Are .com markets gonna follow? Who's gonna regulate that? Who's gonna catch those? How are we handling that huge market of I don't care what the regulations are?
That's everyone's responsibility, I believe. You know, you would get to hear from even regulators, with all due respect, we don't have the powers to do this. We got to go and speak to the state police and whoever. And that's very true. But in essence, in my book, it's down to all of us to make sure that the black market is driven away by means of introducing sensible regulation. And yet again, I will sound like a broken record, working together. Because the fact that there are no black market operators should be, I'm not asking for anything else, that should be the reward any operator gets for having gone through the pain, it's usually a pain, of getting oneself licensed in a jurisdiction X, be it the US state, be it any other country around the world. So that would be yet again my recipe, because the clear risk we're running is that folks out there, the patrons, our customers, might come across cynical, but they don't really care who they're betting with, no matter how hard we may be trying. As long as, of course, there's an if, they get their money back and they'll get their winnings payout. They don't care whether it's DraftKings, BetMGM, or whether it's Bodog.
I see clients in my day job. I'm a peer counselor in my day job, and you're right, they use black market websites, and they have no concept that if they self-exclude, they're only excluding from the legal ones. They didn't know, they don't know, exactly your point. They have no idea what is legal, what is not. I've always been confused, because we took down PokerStars.net in 2011. I don't understand why the government can't just come on in and take care of the black market. I've never understood.
We have another panelist on there.
Eliminate them. I don't need to see more ads with Drake talking about steak. I don't need that in my life. And so I don't understand why the government isn't more helpful. So I'm happy, whatever efforts you guys have on black market, I'm happy to back up, because I think it's shit as well, the black market. But the legal market is also where people are getting harmed, and we're on penalties, are we? So
yeah, but how do you enforce those penalties in the black market? To your point, I do research on perception of residents, and here in New York, they don't people cannot tell difference between legal sports betting does not mean legal gambling, and that there's no clear distinction for people who will be playing. So, and then how do we deal with that? Do we need stricter penalties? Do we need stricter regulations, different regulations, which then will bring us to the next point, which will be our GREAT Act. So that is another topic that has been talked about, new hot topic, right? Gambling Addiction Recovery, Investment and Treatment Act. Why do we have such a mixed responses from industry then? If this is all that we all want to do it, we all have big, good hearts, why do we have such a mixed feelings from industry, mixed messages from industry? And what's the advocacy view of GREAT Act?
We definitely have good hearts, big hearts. We're good people, I'd like to think. Feel free to disagree, of course. I'm trying to line that up. But yeah, potentially controversial issue. But I don't think the Grit Act is a commendable initiative, but it might not be as gritty as one would have hoped. Do we need more money behind responsible gambling? Oh, yes. Does it need to come from the federal level? Well, the states have fought really hard to obtain the authority and the power to regulate this space, and in my book they've been doing more than a decent job. So that's the first consideration. Two more, if I may. Secondly, it's not only about getting the money, but also about how the money is spent. I'm a big fan of research, and this will sound very cheesy, but it needs to be actionable research. There's lots of research that has been done, and sadly it's collecting dust somewhere on a shelf at the back of the room. Of course, it's also down to the operators to go and action the research and implement it. And I suppose finally you've seen, now I'm running another risk of expulsion, seen from the reaction that the NCPG, the instigator of the whole process, may not have done the greatest of homeworks in terms of, if not lining the support across the industry, then at least obtaining a more neutral stance. There we go. Here you go. I've said it. That's just my honest opinion.
I'd love to see any legislation that gives more money to, because I mean, RG isn't going to fund treatment, right? RG dollars isn't going to fund treatment for somebody, so we need money for that. And so this would give it, it's an excise tax that already exists. I know everybody in the industry wants it to go away, but it already exists. So why not use that money for something good? And I would say that helping people would be a good thing to use that money for.
Oh yeah, helping people is a great thing. And yeah, treatment does need some more support as well. I'm still sort of a guest in this country. I'm not illegally here, so immigration's all sorted. But, I'm still learning about the nitty-gritty of healthcare, and always amazed at the amount of the bills. But funnily enough, they don't seem to cover gambling addiction, or as my friend Dan down there, who's been yawning earlier, I saw you, will attest to it, mental health issues. So perhaps it needs to be part of the wider debate. But yeah, I won't disagree. As I've said in my book, it's not only about how much, but also about how the money is spent, so that it's done in an efficient way. Sorry, I've run out of time here.
Yes, you did. All right. So next question then will be, you talked about the limiting how much you can bet on a gambling, right? And there are a lot of things that you can do offline. You can stop someone from betting more. And a little bit of stats, like 9 out of 10 casual bettors set a budget before going to the land-based casinos. That cannot be translated in online. You have access to your credit card all the time. Can you think of other things that cannot be translated or has been translated in online that had a good, actually effective to protect players?
You know what works great online? Self-exclusion. Works like a champ. Works exactly how it's supposed to. You sign up, it excludes you, you can't access the apps anymore. It's perfect for online legal apps.
But you said black market, it's legal apps.
Oh yeah, you're screwed at that point. You got to get gam banned, but it works well for the legal apps. So we're on to something. We've started it. Now we just need to spread it across more states so it's easier for people to do. Because it takes me sometimes 2 sessions with the client to get them self-excluded from my state and the surrounding states, because it's a very cumbersome process.
Oh, well, in my book, we're trying to do the same thing in retail and online. It's just 2 different beasts. I suppose the asset, I was going to say advantage, but that wouldn't be fair. The asset the online space has is ready-made access to a lot of data that can inform the operator's decisions as to what to do with a customer that unfortunately may be developing a gambling problem. But to be fair to retail casinos, now the advantage in my book, the advantage they do have is the face to, we're sitting here right now. The face-to-face contact. I can go and tap on someone's shoulder. To Brian's point, yes, certainly might have happened only once throughout your career, but it's supposed to be happening. You're doing okay? Can I help you? It's not just about offering coffee.
Tapping your shoulder stuff.
As you should.
All right. Okay, now the fun part. You cannot say anything other yes and no to these questions. Ready?
Oh, I'll get myself fired. Jesus.
All right. Are current self-exclusion programs adequately enforced?
No.
No.
All right. Should there be a nationwide standard for responsible gambling plans?
Oh, yeah.
Nationwide.
Sure.
No, sure, it's not allowed.
That's not yes or no.
Cheating.
Yes.
Allowing states to regulate gambling independently. Was that a right move then?
No.
Yes. Go Jersey.
Are advertising restrictions on gambling effective in reducing gambling problems?
$1.3 million in fines.
Yes or no?
No.
No.
Does industry need stricter regulations?
No.
Does industry
Yes.
want more regulations?
Yes. Stricter doesn't
Yes.
mean more.
All right. Is there enough public awareness about responsible gambling resources and support services?
There could always be more.
Yeah.
That's not yes or no?
Yes, there is. Awareness, yes.
Aware? Again, I'm sorry, but I see parents of kids who have a gambling addiction, and they're like, I didn't even know this
But you
could be
know
an
what I'm
addiction.
doing here? It's working. It's really
Oh, sorry.
working.
No.
All right. Okay. Last one. Should responsible gambling initiatives be a mandatory part of a gambling license requirements?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. We didn't get to a fist fight. I would call it a success. But I want to thank my panel. You've been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.